What's up guys, Mike from Rockville, and today I'm going to be showing you how to set up your HD5 speakers. Let's get to it. Now everything in this video is going to apply to both models of the HD5, whether you get the classic wood style or the black style. Now straight out of the box we have the two speakers themselves, a remote control that controls a lot of the functions on the HD5, as well as an RCA to 3.5mm aux cable. Now the HD5 speaker system consists of an active speaker that has a built-in amplifier, as well as a passive speaker that gets powered through the active speaker. So the first thing we want to do when we're setting it up is actually connect the two speakers to each other. Now on your passive speaker, there's actually a wire built into it, and this wire is going to allow you to connect your passive speaker to your active speaker. Now on the back of the active speaker, there's actually a port that says output to right speaker. That's where you're going to take the wire that's connected to the passive speaker and plug it right in. Once you connected the passive right speaker to the active left speaker, you can take the power cord that's attached to the active speaker and plug it right into the wall. Once you plug it into the wall, you're going to notice that the bottom LED indicator illuminates red, which means you're in standby mode. Standby mode basically means your speakers are on, but they're not going to play anything until you put it into another input mode. Now one of the cool things that we built into the HD5 speaker system is two different ways that you can actually control it. So you can use this jog wheel on the top to select the master volume, raise or lower it, as well as push in on it to select different modes. But if you don't want to do it that way, you can also use the included remote to change the EQ, bass or treble EQ, select the different modes that you want, and adjust the volume. So let's talk about the different modes right now. Now if I want to go through the different modes using the jog wheel, all I have to do is press in on the center button over here. So the blue color is actually for Bluetooth mode, which means I can connect the device through Bluetooth. The green color corresponds to the aux 1 input on the back of the speaker. It's a 3.5mm input. This color corresponds to the aux 2 input on the back, which is also a 3.5mm input. The pink color corresponds to the USB input on the back over here, and the yellow color corresponds to the optical input on the back. And additionally, there's a coaxial input on the back. Now I'm actually going to go back to the Bluetooth input and connect my phone through Bluetooth to show you how easy it is. So to connect a device through Bluetooth, all you have to do is go to the Bluetooth mode. Once you hear that chime, you know it's in pairing mode. Go to the Bluetooth settings of your device and find the HD5 in your settings. And once you hear that chime, you know you are connected through Bluetooth. So let me play something really quick right now. All right, awesome. You can hear it sounds really great. And we're at a pretty low volume. So remember, if you want to change the volume, there's two ways you can do it. You can do it with the remote, or you can do it with the jog wheel. If you want to do it with the jog wheel, you just turn it this way. And you can hear it gets really loud. And it sounds great. Now on top of just controlling the actual volume, you can also control the EQ from the remote. So I can raise the bass, get a really nice thumpy sound, or I can raise the treble to get some more presence. And on top of that, I have 4 different EQ presets that I can choose from for whatever fits my needs. Okay, so that sounded great, and I want to show you something really cool that we added on the HD5 series, and that's removable grills. So removable grills give you the option for 2 different styles, and you can choose whichever one fits your setup best. Now if you want to leave it with the grill on, you don't have to do anything, but if you want to take the grills off, all you have to do is put your hand here and just lightly pull up. You don't have to pull really hard, and it's just going to come naturally off. One of my favorite things to do when I have it like this is you can actually watch the woofer dance. So I'm going to play music again and just watch the woofer. You definitely get it when you turn it up too. I mean, look at it. It's like literally going to the beat. It's like you can see music. It's awesome. I love that. Now if you don't have a device that has Bluetooth streaming capabilities, you can always use one of the 2 aux channels on the back. All you need is a 3.5 to 3.5mm cable, which I have here. I'm going to take one end, plug it right into the aux input. I'm going to take the other end and plug it into my iPad, which has a headphone jack. And then remember, we have to change it into the aux mode, which is going to be the green color. So I just hit this button once, and it goes into the green mode, which is our aux mode. And then it's the same thing. You can play music, and then control the volume from the jog wheel or from the remote itself. And that's basically how you use the aux inputs. Now a super cool feature on your HD5 speakers is because of the way that we engineer them, you can actually use them as studio monitors and as recording playback in a studio setup. So I'm going to show you a basic setup with an interface and how you can connect it to your interface and then use it to record and listen back to what you've recorded. So what you're going to need for that is a computer with a DAW. In my case, I'm using Logic, but you can use GarageBand or Audacity, as well as an interface. I'm using a pretty popular interface. It's the Focusrite 2i2 interface. And then you're going to need your speakers, and you're going to need this kind of cable. So this is a special cable. We sell it at Rockville. It is a 3.5 millimeter aux cable, and then on the other end, it is 2 1/4-inch cables. And this is basically going to allow you to connect your speakers directly into your interface. So when you plug in your interface to your computer through USB, your computer is going to prompt you and ask you if you want to use the interface as your audio sound source for inputting and outputting. You're going to select yes, and this is the same on Mac as well as on Windows. Then once you can do that, you can go ahead and connect your interface to your speakers. You're going to do that by taking the 3.5 millimeter cable and plugging it into one of the 2 aux inputs on the back of the HD5 active speaker. So I'm actually going to go into aux input 2. And then with these 2 ends, you're actually going to take the white one, and on the back of your interface it says left. You're going to plug the white one into the left one, and you're going to take the red one and plug it into the right line output. Now make sure you're in the right input mode, so I'm going to go over to aux 2, which is this color. Now once you have your speakers connected to your interface, you'll notice over here there's a big monitor button. This monitor button actually controls the level that is going to the speakers. So if we have it all the way this way, it means it's completely off. And we turn it up, that's when we can listen back and hear what we were recording. But remember, whenever you're recording, you want to have those monitors all the way down, or else it's going to pick up on your speakers and you're going to get feedback. So I have a condenser microphone here set up. Let's just record something and see if we can listen back through our speakers off of our interface. Test 1 2, test 1 2, this is Mike from Rockville. Test 1 2, test 1 2, this is Mike from Rockville. Now in order to play it back, you just want to mute your microphone, so you could turn off phantom power or turn the volume all the way down. And now we want to turn up our gain and make sure the level of our speakers are up. And if I hit play, I should be able to hear everything. Test 1 2, test 1 2, this is Mike from Rockville. Test 1 2, test 1 2, this is Mike from Rockville. Cool, so as you just heard, using the monitor knob as well as your speakers, you can use these for studio monitors and a setup if you're mixing or recording. Now the cool thing about using an interface as well is if you have an interface with multiple line outputs, you can have some of the outputs going to the speakers themselves as well as to a subwoofer for a bigger setup. Using a subwoofer with studio monitors is going to be great, especially if you're mixing or recording music that has a lot of low end. Or you can even use it just to play back music off of your computer because, you know, a lot of times you want that extra subwoofer just to add a little bit of juice. Now there is one final setup that I want to show you, but it's actually going to require us to go to our conference room and use our smart TV. So let's head over there right now. Alright guys, so we are actually in the conference room now, and that's because I want to show you how to use the HD5s in a home theater setup, and I need to use a smart TV to do that. Now in your setup, you might be putting these speakers on a table or a media center, and that's totally fine because they actually have rubber feet at the bottom to stabilize them, but you can also put them on speaker stands that we sell. It just depends on what your setup is. Now for the home theater setup, it's kind of like all the other setups we do, but instead of using an aux cable or Bluetooth, we're going to be using an optical cable, and that's because it has the optical port on the back. Now in order to do this, it's pretty straightforward. You're going to take one end of your optical cable, you're going to plug it into your TV, and a cool thing on optical cables is once you actually plug them into your TV, the other end is going to illuminate to let you know that this cable is working. And then with this end, we're going to go straight into the optical port on the HD5 active speaker. Now, as always, you need to select the optical mode. So we're going to hit our center button over here, and you're going to find the correct color, which in this case for optical mode is yellow. Now, before we actually play anything through the HD5, there are a couple TV settings that we should go through to make sure we're going to get sound through the optical cable. So I'm going to go to my TV settings real quick. I'm going to hit settings. I'm going to go to the sound settings. And I'm actually going to change the select speaker from TV speaker, and I'm going to change it down to audio out optical. This is basically telling the TV to send all the audio signal through the optical cable into our speakers. Once that's selected, there is another setting that we need to check out. You're going to go into the advanced or expert audio settings now. And the setting that we want to check is our audio format. So we want to make sure our audio format is set to PCM, which in my case it already was. But if yours is not, you can just click on it and click PCM, make sure it's checked. Now what PCM does is make sure that we're getting stereo sound through our optical cable. So with those two settings set, we can then go and play something and make sure we're getting sound. So I'm playing something through Amazon Prime Video, but this is also going to work if you do it on Netflix or Hulu or any other smart TV app. As you can see, you're hearing the sound of the show through the HD5. Then I can use my HD5 remote to increase the volume.
Look good. They covered the whole thing over so that, you know,
and change between the different EQ presets, or even change between the 2-band EQ. So the optical cable is a great way to integrate the HD5 into your home theater setup, whether you're using it in your living room or your bedroom. So hopefully this video showed you how easy it is to set up your HD5 in a bunch of different scenarios, whether you're using it in a home theater setup, a studio setup, or just for personal use to listen to music. But again, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to reach out to our customer support tech team through phone or email. As always, guys, I'm Mike from Rockville. I'll see you next time.